David Muir, ABC's World News Tonight, America's most watched newscast. Now streaming same day with all the breaking news of the day on Disney Plus. Most watched, most trusted. Now on Disney Plus every night.
Tonight, the fast-moving wildfires tearing through multiple states. Nearly 100 large fires are burning, including this major blaze near Reno, Nevada. Evacuations are being ordered for people and animals. Tens of thousands of firefighters are battling the flames. Also, the extreme heat. More than 70 people were treated for heat-related illness in Colorado alone. Our weather team is tracking it all. Plus, the deepening drought in Puerto Rico. Rotating water shutoffs after the island suffered through its driest July on record. Also tonight, the deadly accident in New York Harbor. A speedboat flipped, killing a mother and her 5-month-old baby. The boat's captain arrested. The charges he now faces. The urgent health alert for meat and poultry that may contain jalapenos that were recalled and could be linked to a salmonella outbreak. Those products were found in major supermarkets and restaurants. Ohio Congressman Max Miller refuses to drop his re-election bid while denying claims of domestic abuse. With the deadline passing, is a so-called safe seat for Republicans suddenly in play? A dramatic rescue. First responders hoist a man to safety after he fell 30 feet from a cliff. The massive explosion and fire that shut down a busy freeway for hours. We remember NBA legend Don Nelson, a champion as a player and one of the winningest coaches in history. Powerball fever without a winner for months. The jackpot's now reached an eye-popping figure. And look out, here comes Spider-Man, single-handedly boosting the summer box office.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us on this Sunday. I'm Lindsay Davis. We begin tonight with fast-moving wildfires burning across multiple states in the West and Canada. Thousands have been forced to flee their homes. The so-called bug fire started in California and has now spread to Nevada. It's racing toward hundreds of homes and businesses, prompting widespread evacuations. British Columbia has declared a state of emergency as the wind-driven flames scorch western Canada, evacuating more than 20,000 people. Those flames are burning near the Washington state border, prompting fears that it could reignite the wildfires that devastated Spokane just days ago. Firefighters in that state are already battling 20 large wildfires. None have been contained. And that unrelenting heat in the west stoking those wildfires is causing other problems as well. Saturday in Colorado, dozens of people were treated for heat-related illnesses during a festival. And that heat is on the move tonight. ABC's meteorologist Leslie Lopez leads us off.
Tonight, the bug fire near Reno, Nevada is burning out of control. Residents forced to evacuate as firefighters race to get the upper hand. It's just one front in a growing wildfire battle across the West. According to the Interagency Fire Center, there are 94 large fires burning nationwide with more than 30,000 firefighters and other personnel deployed to battle them. And the count is climbing fast. 183 new fires reported just since Friday, including 8 new large blazes. In Northern California, flames are ripping across Calaveras County, while an expanding brush fire in Los Angeles County is triggering evacuation warnings.
Once we started seeing the smoke, heard sirens, all of that, the helicopter started coming in. We actually just came from the helipad over there, and it was just wild.
Crews there are battling the Halser fire and the Walnut fire as red flag warnings stretch across the Intermountain West and the Rockies. Just last weekend, we saw how quickly conditions like these can explode. 3 fires near Spokane, Washington burned more than 10,000 acres and destroyed nearly 1,000 structures. And the flames aren't stopping at the border. In British Columbia, 20,000 people are under evacuation orders tonight, including everyone in Summerlin, where flames raced towards homes overnight.
I don't know whether my house is gone or still there or not, but that fire came so fast.
And the fire moved so quickly, some residents and even farm animals became trapped and had to be rescued.
Aerial response teams were converted to emergency evacuation personnel. 18 of our aircraft were used to rescue more than 50 individuals.
Across the West, extreme heat is adding another threat. 72 people were treated during record-tying heat yesterday in Colorado Springs.
And Leslie joins us now with more on the wildfire threat and dangerous heat. So which areas have you especially concerned?
Right now, the West, but now it's also expanding over to Oklahoma. So let me just show you what's happening. That fire weather threat is moving into Oregon, Washington, Idaho, getting into Wyoming, but also now parts of Texas and Oklahoma. That is heat that is moving in, really producing a lot of dry weather and some wind. And heat over in Denver could mean record-breaking temperatures on Tuesday. 98 degrees expected there. The desert Southwest doesn't improve much this week. And then we head out towards severe thunderstorm threats anywhere from Chicago out towards Fort Wayne, Kalamazoo, Grand Rapids. You're in there too. And the area of low pressure is going to continue to move out towards the east, bringing with it severe risk for damaging wind, large hail, few tornadoes, and flash flooding possible all the way out towards Pittsburgh. Good news for New York City, finally cooling down next week. I know that's big relief. Wednesday, 83 degrees. We'll cut back on that humidity, and it lasts for a bit too.
A big relief indeed. Looking forward to that, Leslie. Thank you. Now to a tragedy on the water in New York. A young mother and her 5-month-old daughter are dead after their boat capsized near the Statue of Liberty Island on the New York harbor. The captain of that boat was arrested and charged with multiple counts of reckless endangerment. Here's ABC's Morgan Norwood.
A chaotic and desperate rescue unfolding in the shadow of the Statue of Liberty in the middle of the night. 14 people thrown into the water after their boat capsized. Rescuers racing to find a mother and her 5-month-old baby.
Rescue boats are now on site. They're saying the baby might be underneath the boat.
The frantic search just after 10 p.m. Saturday night. Divers plunging into the New York harbor. Multiple rescue boats and an NYPD helicopter rushing to the scene.
I got the infant on board. I got to recover my divers. FD, if you want to come get the infant, hurry up. On our way back with the infant right now.
On shore, emergency crews waiting. Video showing one person on a stretcher being put into an ambulance.
I saw 3 helicopters, 2 active boats on the water, and just a lot of NYU ambulances, cops, firefighters, trucks.
Rescuers eventually pulling all 14 from the water.
I was just hoping that they would find them safely and alive, and hopefully they're okay and they make it.
But tragically, 27-year-old Sarah Sanchez and her 5-month-old daughter Antonella Garcia later pronounced dead at the hospital. Tonight, the boat's operator, 46-year-old Manuel Hernandez, arrested, facing 13 counts of reckless endangerment. These images showing the moment the boat was pulled from the water. The Coast Guard now digging into whether this was an illegal charter operation and if Hernandez was carrying passengers for hire without the required credentials, safety equipment, and inspection.
And Lindsay, tonight the Coast Guard is also looking into how that boat capsized. As for those survivors, they were taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Lindsay.
What a horrible story, Morgan. Thank you. Now to the water crisis in Puerto Rico. Tens of thousands of people are still without running water as a persistent drought deepens the strain on communities already stretched to the limit. Let's get right to ABC's Andrew Dimbert. Andrew, what more are you learning tonight?
Lindsay, the water crisis is getting worse, with over 180,000 people now facing rotating water shutoffs and rationing. This is what the reservoir supplying San Juan and several other major municipalities look like today after weeks of little to no rain. San Juan getting just 9% of its usual rainfall in July, and our weather team telling us there's no significant rainfall in the island's forecast. Tonight, Puerto Rico's governor says she's working with the federal government on the crisis, but the island's congressional representative in Washington is urging the governor to request a disaster declaration from President Trump that would open up resources from FEMA. He also says that Puerto Rican National Guard troops who were deployed to Washington, D.C. should be sent home to help. Lindsay?
A major crisis indeed. Andrew, thank you. Next tonight, a new public health warning that some meat products may contain recently recalled jalapenos. Those peppers may be linked to a salmonella outbreak that has sickened more than 300 people in at least 27 states. ABC's Melissa Dunn has the details.
Tonight, growing concern about the safety of America's food supply as federal officials issue a new public health alert for those recalled jalapenos that may be linked to a salmonella outbreak. The Food Safety and Inspection Service now saying several meat and poultry products contain peppers that may be linked to the growing outbreak in more than 24 states.
We don't know if anybody is sick yet from these meat and poultry products, but of course companies are doing recalls because there's a possibility they might be contaminated.
The products include burritos, enchiladas, wraps, and salads sold at major grocery chains like Kroger, Walmart, H-E-B, and Albertsons. The USDA says the now recalled jalapenos are linked to a salmonella outbreak that has infected at least 345 people across 27 states, including Colorado and Minnesota, seeing the highest number of reported infections. Many of the people interviewed reported eating jalapenos at Chipotle and Qdoba restaurants, both companies since removing the ingredient from their menus. The USDA says there have not yet been any illnesses reported from meat and poultry products containing the affected jalapenos. Health officials say the outbreak traces to jalapeno peppers from Sinaloa, Mexico, distributed by Coast Citrus distributors, who have since recalled the jalapenos. This comes as more than 22,000 Americans have gotten sick from that parasitic stomach illness, cyclosporiasis. Many cases in 15 states tied to a deadly record outbreak linked to Taylor Farms iceberg lettuce from Mexico that's been voluntarily recalled.
Now, Lindsay, back to that jalapeno outbreak. The CDC says businesses should check their inventory for the recalled jalapenos and pull them off their shelves. Lindsay?
All right, Melissa, thank you. Overseas now to the growing chaos in the Middle East. The Iran-backed Houthi rebels are now claiming responsibility for a strike on a Saudi oil facility. And the mixed messaging tonight from Iran and the U.S. on a possible deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Here's ABC's Marcus Moore.
Tonight, with tensions in the Gulf region already at a high level, the Iran-backed Houthi rebels claiming responsibility for a deadly strike on a Saudi oil facility in the Yemeni Red Sea port of Mocha. At least 7 people were killed. The attack raising fears that the Houthis will try to further disrupt sea traffic in the region at a time when Iran has all but shut down the Strait of Hormuz. While Iranian officials say no active negotiations are underway, in an interview with Axios, President Trump said the U.S. is, quote, semi-negotiating with Iran. We are low-keying it, he said. We're watching Iran with its huge inflation and the fact that they have no money. The back and forth following the weekend announcement that Iran is close to a deal with Oman to secure a route through part of the Strait of Hormuz. But Iran now making new demands on the U.S., including lifting the naval blockade and withdrawing American forces from around Iran. All of this now nearly 6 months into the war, and as U.S. stockpiles of munitions remain low. The Pentagon pressing defense manufacturers to rush production, telling them to submit plans to do so within the next few weeks. And in another blow to President Trump's efforts in the region, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu rejecting the U.S.-brokered Gaza peace deal, insisting Israel will not withdraw until Hamas disarms. Hamas has said it will not do so until the IDF withdraws, saying that it remains committed to President Trump's 15-point plan.
And Lindsay, both sides tonight appearing to hold firm, waiting for the other to take the first step. Lindsay.
And Marcus, while we have you, tell us about the latest U.S. efforts to broker peace in Ukraine.
That's right. A lot going on. The Russian state news agency TASS is reporting that President Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and envoy Steve Witkoff may visit Moscow soon. And such a visit has been rumored for weeks. And it comes as both sides appear to be intensifying their missile and drone attacks on each other. Ukraine managing to hit energy facilities and warehouses deep inside Russia. One target is Amazon's Russian equivalent Wildberries. And Russia suffering heavy losses on the battlefield as well. And Lindsay, there is word tonight from Ukraine's President Zelensky that he believes another 50,000 North Korean troops may soon be deployed to fight alongside Russia in Ukraine. Lindsay.
All right, Marcus, thank you. An Ohio congressman is ignoring calls to drop his bid for re-election. This is domestic abuse allegations have rocked his campaign, triggering a family feud. Max Miller has vehemently denied the allegations, and the deadline for him to drop out of the race has now passed. Here's ABC's Stephen Portnoy.
Tonight, sources say Ohio Republican Max Miller is determined to fight on, despite allegations he denies of abuse leveled against him by his ex-wife and 2 other women. Up against a Monday deadline to take his name off the ballot, the Cleveland area congressman shrugs off a growing number of calls to drop out. Calls led by Ohio Senator Bernie Moreno, the father of Miller's ex-wife.
There's no chance that I'm removing myself from this race.
Sources say President Trump called Miller last week, concerned his continued candidacy could put a safe Republican seat in play.
The allegations against him are terrible, and if he's endangering a seat in Congress as we're trying to keep the majority in the House, and he should drop out if he's endangering that seat.
As concerned as top Republicans may be about Miller's seat in the House, they're hopeful they can flip a Senate seat in Michigan. Last week, progressive Democrat Abdul El-Sayed defeated a moderate candidate who had been backed by the party's establishment. After a string of key victories by progressives, more primaries on Tuesday will put the party's future to the test.
We understand that our priority is the working class of this country, and we have to make the case that we're here to make people's lives better.
Democrats aiming to unite ahead of November as the GOP seeks to paint them as extremists. On ABC's This Week, New York Democratic Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez appearing to take pains to distance herself from a brand Republicans have targeted.
I have a local city councilman that has this saying, woke one was crazy.
In that interview on ABC's This Week, AOC said some of the things she and her fellow progressives may have called for in the past, like defunding the police, is, quote, not rhetoric that we would use today. Lindsay?
All right, Stephen, thank you. Now to yet another Verizon outage. This one is hitting Los Angeles and other parts of Southern California. According to Verizon, this disruption is related to vandalism involving multiple cuts to fiber lines. This follows a power outage for thousands of customers in the U.S. on Saturday. The company did not provide a reason for that outage. There's so much more ahead on World News Tonight this Sunday, including the dramatic rescue of a man who fell 30 feet from a cliff. And we remember Don Nelson, who had a legendary career as an NBA player, then as a coach, and the massive explosion that shut down a busy interstate for hours. Next tonight, an update on a disturbing case of a black woman found hanging in a tree in Mississippi. An alleged person of interest in the death investigation of Tasia Fortune is now under arrest on an unrelated charge of a felon in possession of a firearm. Terrence Anderson has denied any involvement with her death, but told police he had argued with her. Fortune was found hanging in a tree on Monday. Tonight, there's new video of a dangerous rescue mission along the California coast. The Sonoma County Sheriff says a person had fallen from a cliff onto rocks 30 feet below. First responders put the victim on a stretcher, then hoisted him to a helicopter and then to a trauma center for treatment. The sheriff credits bystanders with placing a makeshift splint on the victim's leg before emergency crews arrived. Also in California, a major freeway was shut down for hours after a massive explosion and fire. Flames and thick black smoke shot high in the air on Highway 99 in Selma on Saturday. Police say a tanker carrying more than 8,000 gallons of fuel sideswiped a box truck, triggering that explosion. Remarkably, both drivers escaped with just minor injuries. When we come back, another billion-dollar movie, Spider-Man's big boost for the box office. To the Index. Tonight, we're remembering Don Nelson, a basketball Hall of Famer. As a player, he won 5 NBA titles with the Boston Celtics, who retired his number 19 jersey. As a coach, Nelson was known for his up-tempo offense, winning more than 1,300 games, the second most of all time. One of his former teams, the Golden State Warriors, announced his death today. Don Nelson was 86 years old. Next, the Powerball jackpot. It is up to a whopping $905 million. That's the 8th largest in the game's history, with a cash value of about $391 million. Not so bad. No one took the grand prize in Saturday's drawing. In fact, there hasn't been a winner since early May. The next drawing is Monday night. And moviegoers, they keep getting drawn into Spider-Man's web. In just 12 days, Spider-Man Brand New Day has earned nearly $1.7 billion worldwide. That makes it the 12th highest grossing film of all time. Let's put it this way. In its second weekend, it took in more than The Odyssey, Michael, and Project Hail Mary made in their opening weekends. When we come back, how do you thank people who've saved your life? You have to see what one artist drew up. Finally tonight, America Strong and a picture of gratitude.
That's you right there.
A hand-drawn thank you from a man who knows a thing or two about drawing heroes. Oscar-winning Disney animator Glenn Keane returned to Phoenix Friday, reuniting with the first responders who rescued him from Mummy Mountain in Paradise Valley, Arizona last month. The 72-year-old had reached the summit in triple-digit heat when he realized he didn't have the strength to make it back down.
I had just spent all of my energy.
The rescue crew eventually lifted him to safety. This week, the legendary animator behind classics like The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and Aladdin returned with a drawing of a very different kind of adventure, his own rescue.
I was thinking, oh, maybe I should draw Aladdin flying here or something. I said, no, this is not about me. You guys are the heroes.
Keane says he thought his wife would tease him about the ordeal, but she wasn't laughing.
She was actually in tears, So thankful, so thankful.
Once Keene got home, he knew he had to go back, not to draw a hero, but to thank them.
I felt like I really needed to say thank you, to what you guys did. Thank you, all of you.
And thank you for watching. Good night.
David Muir, the most trusted, most watched newscast in America. And now, World News Tonight has won the Emmy for Best Live News Program for the 4th year in a row.